Well, we just finished the 2022 NFL Combine, and we got a chance to see some of the top defensive backs in the nation. And sports fans, I brought a great friend of mine on the show to talk about those because, and he is an aficionado on it because he played the game at the highest level. So if you enjoyed the show, please make sure that you click subscribe, get me those numbers up for me so we can, because more is coming later. And make sure you share. And if you've got comments, make sure you add those as well to Coach One Sports with yours truly, Coach Kevin Bull Jones. I got a great friend of mine, a man who's been a mentor to me on so many things in my personal life as well as my professional life. But more importantly for tonight and this evening, we're going to talk about these top defensive backs. He played 12 years in the NFL, first-round draft pick of the Atlanta Falcons, defensive back, 1981. Yours truly, All-American from Florida State University, Bobby Butler. My big brother, how you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. How you been doing, Coach?
Man, B, it's so good. It's so good to talk to you. You know, sports fans, he's with 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk, where I came from, along with he and Vincent Turner. And I just want to give kudos to him, and I'm going to get Vincent later when I get him on my show, because they're the ones that brought me into this whole forum of talking and being able to share thoughts. And the most important thing that I learned from this man that you all are seeing right now is just the positivity and things that you talk about and how you talk about him and how you carry yourself. I've had many conversations with Bobby behind the scenes, and he is like a brother to me. And just not just football talk, just life talk. So I want to thank you, my brother, for bringing me into this whole arena of this podcast stuff. Thank you for bringing me in.
Well, really, Coach, I tell you, you know this. Anytime football players get together, you know, it's a brotherhood.
Yes,
and we enjoy what we do. We love not only the game, we love teaching and helping young men, you know, develop themselves in this game, because this game has so much more to give you in life other than just playing the game, right? And so I love the game of football, and it's really a game about life when you look outside of it, right? And you know, I'll be preaching on that all day long. We need to get to the show. Right?
Well, his show is called 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk. You'll see that down at the crawler down at the bottom. Make sure y'all get a chance to got some outstanding shows on there with Logan and Jeremiah and Vincent Turner. Some great shows. That's where I learned my craft and got a little warm. They got my feet wet in this. So make sure you all, make sure that you click and subscribe and get a chance to put all they got out there, because they got so many shows that they put out a day. But we're going to take the gloves off and talk about those defensive backs.
Yes, sir.
And
yes,
man,
sir.
I know that you enjoy talking about, this is your profession. This is where you played at 174 pounds. At least that's what the media said in the NFL.
That's what the media guys said. 174.
Yeah, it said 174.
Oh my God.
But you and I know with the big shoulder pads, it wasn't 170.
Well, now, you know, with all my gear, probably 174. But you know, Coach, you know, the game has changed a lot since I played the game. You know, I remember back in 1981 when my day came, NFL draft in 1981, we had 6 DBs, which was kind of rare to be taken in the first round. And so we had guys like Kenny Easley being the first guy taken in the draft.
Big safety.
Big safety from Chesapeake, Virginia, went all the way out to UCLA to play college ball.
Wow.
And then followed by him, there's another guy who was playing in LA area named Ronnie Lott, was the second DB taken off the board. And the third guy played with Ronnie Lott, Dennis Smith. So they had 2 power safeties at USC. And then later on in the first round, Hanford Dixon was taken from Southern Miss to the Cleveland Browns. Ted Watts was taken. My homeboy from Tarpon Springs, Florida. We played in the high school all-star game together. He was taken by he was Texas Tech, taken by the Raiders. And then the Falcons took me. So they took 3 safeties in the first round, 3 corners in the back of the first round. And we had a great class. Yeah. But the thing that I remember, Coach, it was life-changing that day for me, right? And these guys today, coming up in the 2022 draft, these guys' lives going to be changed for life. And so it's going to be a great. I get excited every year this time of the year because I can remember. I'm 62 years old, but I'll never forget that day, right? And so I'm happy for these guys. Now, the difference in today, the game has changed, Coach.
Right.
And so the game has changed. Let's just think back way back in the early 80s, early 70s, and things like that. You ran the football. Football was a physical, powerful.
With a fullback. We got a fullback.
We had a fullback back then, right? And a fullback was he was the toughest guy on the team, on the offense, right? And so we played that way. You run the ball first down, you run the ball second down, you run the ball third down unless you have to throw the ball, right? So that was a game. And so what it was about was being physical, taking it to the defense, trying to wear the defense down by the fourth quarter so they can be soft and pliable, and you can do what you want to do offensively, right? So in 1981, when I got drafted by the Falcons, we only carried 3 corners on the whole roster.
What?
Well, think about it. It wasn't a passing league.
I got
you. The year before I came to Atlanta, we had 2,000-yard rushers in the backfield at the same time. Lynn Kane and William Andrews both rushed 4,000 yards. The year after I came in. And so, you got that. You run the ball. You throw when you have to. And so then the evolution of the game came to in 1983. Dan Henning developed the one-back offense in Washington.
Wow.
They had John Riggins running the ball, and they put 2 tight ends in the game, like an ace formation.
12 personnel.
They backed that one tight end off the ball, called him the H-back.
Right.
Like with 2 wide receivers. They motioned that guy in and out. He banged down on those guards, and they open holes for John Riggins.
Correct.
And the next thing you know, they're running the ball with power from a one-back set without the fullback. And so what they created from that was they brought in on third downs, they took the H-back out and put their third receiver in the game. And people were trying to cover that third receiver with linebackers. So think about that. Now we talk about the evolution of the game, right? And so then you fast forward to a few years later. Next thing you know, Miles Davis and June Jones, who developed the run and shoot offense, was with the Houston Oilers, with Warren Moon.
Correct.
With all those 4 wide receivers doing their thing, right?
Right.
And so that's how it was in the beginning. We only carried 3 corners on the roster. We didn't have a nickel package.
Gotcha.
In 1981. We didn't have a dime package. If you don't have a nickel, you definitely don't have a dime package. Right? Right. And so next thing you know, before I got out of the game, we got into the late 80s, right? And then next thing you know, we started playing nickel. Scott Case was our nickel back.
Scott Case, the hitter?
Listen, man, Scott Case, I'm going to say this now. I played with some great DBs. Scott Case is the best all-around DB I ever played with in my life.
What?
He played corner. He went to a Pro Bowl at corner.
Yeah. Okay.
He was a great nickel player. He was a great safety.
And then he come out of Oklahoma or somewhere like
Oklahoma. He went to Oklahoma. And
Very
so one of the best competitors in the game I've ever known, right? Scott Case just can compete. So the evolution of the game became where it was. Last year in the 2021 draft, they took over 30 DBs in the draft. Now, we're not talking about the draft that I played in when you had 12 rounds, right? We're talking about a 7-round draft, over 30 DBs went.
Wow.
And so as I look this year, we got a plethora of great DBs. There's no telling how many DBs are going to get drafted this year. Some of these guys who are in the draft now would have been first and second round draft picks a few years ago.
Gotcha.
But because of the game, the change of the game, and with the growth of everything, hey, they're going to be, second day guys.
Well, tell me your thought. And I just love the way, B, how you brought down that history, the transition from when you played to there was, 21 personnel, two running backs, a tight end, 2 receivers, to now you go to the 12 personnel with 1 back, 2 H-backs or tight ends. And then now you got what's out here now, 10 personnel, which everybody stays in, where it's 1 back and 4 receivers. Right. And then now you make all the defenses now, if you're not in an odd front, if you're not in an odd front, you're with a nickel or rover, or as Alabama call it, a star position.
Star position.
Okay, then then you have to go 4-2-5. Everybody now has, if you're even front, 4 down linemen, you only have 2 backers, and you rest these 4 secondary and your built-in star. So it's amazing. I love the way you broke that down for my folks that watch this show and love to hear the talk about football, and for you to drop the knowledge of how that thing looks. And back in the day when you played, B, you wasn't a bad tackler at all. Even though you were light in the butt, you were still bringing the wood. You talking about Ronnie Lott, Kenny Easley. But I've seen the video. I remember the games where even at your size, a lot of secondary guys don't love to tackle. But you made it a point to be aggressive. Talk about that for a minute.
Well, football was football back in the day. And you think back when you were in high school, I played quarterback in high school, and I played safety. But I rested on defense, Coach. I'll be honest with you. Right? I know you want to hear that, but I got to tell the truth. Right? I was just an athletic kid. So I go to Florida State, and the first time I played corner was when I went to college. Gotcha. And, everybody back in those days, Coach, they ran the wishbone and the veer. Ooh. And Georgia ran the I, and they ran the I. And so we were independent back in those days, but we played basically an SEC schedule at Florida State. I mean, we played LSU. We played Mississippi State. I mean, we played Florida every year. I mean, we played those teams, man. And so the game was physical. And so if you're going to play, you got to be ready. Because back in those days, Coach, we had, I played strong corner, right, in college, which meant I played to the strength of the formation if the ball's in the middle of the field, or if the ball's in the boundary, I played to the wide side.
Correct.
And even to the wide side of the field, Coach, I would have cloud support on sweeps and runs. So I had to read it, take on a stop blocker, or get running to that fullback 100 miles an hour and blow up the play. Yeah. And so we did that, and we practiced that every day, knocking ourselves out in practice. Bam, bam. And so you get to the league, and I'll never forget, though, my first few days at practice, I came to work. I had my shoulder, because I wore bigger shoulder pads. Right. I had my hip pads in. I had my thigh pads and my knee pads in. And I would go to practice, and this KG veteran, who's an all-pro corner named Roland Lawrence, number double deuce, 22. That's right. Said, "Rookie, where you going with all that gear on?" And I'm going like, "Dude, I'm going to work." He said, "Brother, go back in that locker room. You can't wear all that out here." Rolling on. So what he taught me was basically this. In the NFL, when you're a corner, there's no option play. Gotcha. There's no run cloud support unless you're in cover 2, and we only play cover 2 in 2-minute drill. Right. Right? So with that being in mind, dude, you got to be able to keep up with these guys on this track. Right. You got to run up and down this field, and you need to take all that stuff off and get light. Right? Right. But what happened to me, Coach, I did try to play the pro game like I did college until I damaged my left shoulder, right? Okay. And so there's a lot of things came with that. I damaged my left shoulder my second year in the league. Oh, wow. And just played with a bad left shoulder my whole career from that point on until a few years later I had to get it replaced. So I got a whole artificial arm. That's one of my trophies. Football scars. My trophies. Your trophies. That I brag about. Hey, look at that scar right there. Yeah. I got 4 of them. Right. So anyway, because we can talk about that all day, but let me talk about some of these guys. I'm gonna talk about 4 guys. 4 guys. 4 guys. I said top 5, but let's go 4. But I tell you what, give me your top 4 guys, and then give me a wild card. And he doesn't have to be a corner. He can be a safety. He can be a nickel guy. So how about that? Give it to me like that. Give me those top 4, and then give me that other guy that can go and play either one of those positions. Okay, so let's start with this guy. He's special, Coach. And to me, he's the first DB off the board. Now, he may not be. It depends on who's picking and what they're picking, what their need is. But Derek Stingley Jr. of LSU is a very special talent, right? Yes, I mean, this guy, he's off the board. He's 6'1", 195 pounds. Right. And he got that magic thing. And that magic thing is that South Florida speed. Now, he's not from South Florida.
Gotcha.
He's from over in that Panhandle area, right?
Okay.
But he's from Louisiana.
Okay.
But he's running. They got him clocked at 4.2940, right?
Wow.
So now he's got that gift,
Right.
but he also has great cover skills.
Mm-hmm.
And coach, when you're that fast, you can get away with things that other people can't get away with.
Correct.
And see, one thing you can't coach. There's some things you can't coach in the game. You can't coach speed.
Right.
You can't coach size.
Right.
And so we got all that in this top four. Speed and size. Right. So I just watched the tape last week with Derek covering Jamar Chase at LSU.
Yep.
And Chase couldn't catch a pass on him.
That's right.
He was a true freshman, coach. Hey, I'm just saying, he's special, right? So he's got all the gifts. He can cover them. He can play off. He can play press. I mean, he can do it all. I mean, he makes tackles. He attacks the receivers, when they stop blocking him on the run game. Mm-hmm. He's a physical guy who's got all the giftings that anybody wants. I mean, he's one of what they call one of the freaks of this NFL draft, right? Right. And so I got him at number one because he's got, not only can he play the game, but he's got the things that he was born gifted with that you can't coach.
Gotcha.
Right? So I got him number one. Now this number two guy,
okay,
he's special too, right? Because he's got size.
Okay.
He is a 6'3", 200-pound corner. And he was only a 3-star coming out of high school, coach. And so he ended up going 3-star. He ended up going to Cincinnati. And they call him, his name was Ahmad Gardner, but he's got this nickname that he's had since he started playing Pop Warner ball. They call him Sauce.
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 Yeah.
So, coach, when you got a nickname like that, you special.
Gotcha.
Now, 6'3", 200 pounds, he runs a 4.41 in the 40. He's got all the speed he needs, coach.
Right.
And then he's got the length and the size. It's going to be very difficult for a quarterback to throw, they throw that fade up and over.
Right.
It'd be very difficult to complete that ball on this man. And so I wasn't looking for, because I'm thinking, well, he played at Cincinnati. He didn't play the kind of competition. And I was waiting on him to play against Alabama.
Right.
And he did play against Alabama.
Right.
And I'm gonna say this. This young man is so special. He's lanky, long. He's really a press corner, man or zone, cover two, whatever you play. I mean, he's just a dominant guy. And I'm gonna give you this stat, coach. Okay. You don't complete passes on this dude. Matter of fact, coach, in his whole college career, nobody has ever caught a touchdown pass on this guy.
What? Whoa, wow.
I want you to think about what I just said. Coach. Oh, nobody has ever scored on this guy in his college career.
Oh, Bama didn't score on him?
Bama didn't score on him. Bama didn't score on him. Coach, I can't say that. Coach, right. Deion Sanders can't say that.
That's correct. He can't
Coach,
say that.
You name a corner and nobody can say that. The guy has nobody's ever caught a touchdown pass on him.
Right.
Now it's gonna happen in the near future.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen. He's gonna face those grown men.
Oh, those grown men.
That's how they feed their family.
Oh, it ain't gonna
pay their mortgage.
It's not gonna be a joke out there. Right?
Listen, he might he might get some sauce on him.
He might get some sauce on him, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I can imagine what he's gonna go through.
Hey, look, they might make that a football's card when he finally gives up a touchdown. Or they might have a lottery to see who's gonna catch it on him.
Exactly. They might put exactly. You might better go to Vegas and get those odds. Right?
I know, right?
But listen, this guy is special. He's a great cover guy.
Gotcha.
He's physical, coach. He's got size. He's physical. I mean, he can do it all. See, when you get a guy that long, coach. See, a lot of people. See, the thing about what made Deion so special, he had two things that you couldn't coach. And I would always tell the guys on our team, and I tell guys around, don't try to do what Deion do because you can't do it. Deion was a 4.2 40 guy with long arms. Deion was 6'2.5", coach. See, Deion can line up and bump and run, coach, against a flanker, against Z, off the line. And as soon as he moved, put his head, bam, stop him at the line.
Wow.
Somebody like me, if I'm playing against Z and I'm playing bump and run,
Okay.
coach, I've got to sit there and be patient because I can't reach over there
Gotcha.
that deep and touch the guy. I got to wait till he come to me. I got to be patient before I can get a jam on it, right? Shoot, man, Dion can get a jam on you right there where you are. Bam. Right? A lot of people didn't know that about him. This guy possessed the same thing. He's got that height, and he's got that dog in him, coach. And, and look, he reminds me of people like Mel Blount.
Ooh.
Right? That kind of size, coach. Right?
How tall was he, B?
Then the other thing with him that I like.
How tall was Mel Blount? How tall was Mel Blount?
6'3". Wow. 6'3", 6'4", 220, coach. He was 220. Because he was a linebacker playing corner. He was a linebacker playing corner. But this guy, he's going to be a special pick. I got him as the number 2 guy. Some people got him as the number 1 corner, coach.
Wow.
But based on what I see, you know, nobody can come close to Derek Stingley. So I got Ahmad Gardner, Sauce, at the number 2 spot.
Number 2. Mm-hmm.
The number 3 spot, coach, I got this guy. Now, this is a special guy, too. He's a free safety.
Okay.
Out of Notre Dame, Kaiir Hamilton.
Okay.
Now, Kyle is 6'4", 220, coach. Now, when I look at him play, I see Kenneth easily.
Ooh.
I see Kenneth easily.
Ooh.
When I say that, I mean he's athletic.
Okay.
He's got impeccable feet. You know, I like his drops. He's not going to throw them. He's going to end up picking the balls. I like his drops, coach. I like his leadership. I mean, he is truly the quarterback on the defense when he's on the field.
Right.
You know, you see him pointing, getting guys in position. That tells me a lot about a player.
Right.
He's a coach on the field. You know, he's verbal. You know, he's a communicator. And so he gets guys in position. Oh, it's big. It's big. People don't understand. That's big. And so I got him at the number 3 spot. And the thing I love about him, he can run. I mean, for a big guy, he's a 4.5 40.
At 6'4", 220.
At 6'4", 220.
Wow.
And here's the thing, coach. Of course, you know, he can play also in the box.
Yes, he can.
See, when you got guys like that's got size, even with Sauce, you know, these guys can play multiple positions. You can create some things with these guys. Right. And so I love this guy. I mean, coach, he's impressive. And the biggest thing is I saw him play against Florida State, man. He just, coach.
Sideline to sideline.
Coach. I mean, one time he was on the other hash and the quarterback turned around and threw a deep ball on the other side. He went and got it. And I go, he didn't just do that. so he's going to be a great Sunday player.
Wow.
Never forget Kaiir Hamilton, free safety out of Notre Dame.
I think he's from Georgia. I think he's a Georgia kid.
I think he is a Georgia kid.
Yeah, I think
he is a Georgia kid.
I don't want to make a mistake on the high school, but he's a Georgia boy.
He's a Georgia boy.
That I can tell you.
Now, this other guy, I like this guy. Of course, he's from the 5-6-1 coach. You know, I got to get my boys in there.
Right? Yeah.
But you know, he went to that other school in Florida, that one that I really don't like.
What's the other one be?
the one I don't like, halfway through the state somewhere, Gainesville, Florida. That school in Florida. You know, they got their reptile symbol on their helmet. They call them the Gators. You know, I don't like that school. This guy's from the 5-6-1. And listen, he 6'2", 196 pounds.
6'2", 196 pounds.
4.39 40.
Mm-hmm.
Kaiir Elam.
Yes.
Cornerback for Florida.
Love him. Yes.
Now, this guy is a great cover guy. Coach, he's from the 5-6-1. That's what we do down there, right?
Yes.
He's a great cover guy, press man. You know, he's great in back. You know, when he's off the line, backpedaling, weaving, breaking on balls. He's got great burst. He's got great speed. He's got great anticipation. You know, when they're playing zone on there, coach, I mean, he plays with his eyes.
Right.
I mean, he can read that quarterback out there on that corner, man. I'm telling you, he'll make things happen. You know, that guy, that receiver on the outside may sit down. That second receiver may run up the seam. and he's watching that quarterback, bro,
Right.
he gonna go get that ball. He gonna get that ball. And when he go to that coach, I'll look for guys who are natural at catching the ball at the high point.
Bingo. Yes.
Because people don't understand how important those little details are, right? High point the ball, you got that kind of speed, you got the kind of burst, you got the kind of ability to go get the ball. This kid was a wide receiver in high school, so his ball skills are off the charts.
Yep.
See, coach, I'm just amazed now. Football has changed.
Yes, it has.
And most high school rosters, you can play one side of the ball now, right?
Yeah.
But I'm so thankful that I played in an era where, because I was the best athlete on the team, I played quarterback.
Right.
But I wasn't, back in those days, I wasn't going to get the opportunity to go any further than high school playing quarterback, right?
Correct.
And so I didn't get that. And so guess what? And I played safety in high school. Right. I never lined up at corner, but I was an athlete.
So you never played corner in high school? You played safety?
I played safety, strong safety at that, coach.
You didn't play, so you didn't play corner till you got to FSU, Florida State.
First day of practice.
Well,
first time I lined up out there.
Wow. Right? Didn't know that.
Coach, I never played. Matter of fact, I played high school ball with a guy who played corner next to me, who was the best athlete I ever played with in my life until I played with Dion.
Gotcha.
This guy named Mo Wesley, right?
Okay.
We call him Mo. His real name is Martin Wesley, but he's a great athlete. He played corner. He played halfback. He rushed for 1,000 yards on offense, and he had 10 picks on defense. And I used to look at him play corner. I go, I can't do that. Man, how you do that, right? How you do that? And then a couple of years later, I find myself lying about why doing that, right?
Right. Now you're doing it.
No, I'm doing it. And now, but I'm coached well at Florida State. I was coached well. I had the speed and the ability, athletic ability. But when you're coached the right way, dude, it all come together, right?
Yes, sir.
It all come together. Yes, and so this kid right here, man, I like him. He's got NFL DNA.
Yes.
His uncle played in the National Football League, played with the Ravens, was the first round pick of the Ravens in 2013, played 7 years up there. His dad played college ball, started at Notre Dame, transferred to Kent State. His daddy played 6-7 years in the National Football League. Okay. So he's got NFL pedigree. And so, and I can imagine how he's been trained and how he's been taught all over the years. He's a Sunday player, coach. Ain't no doubt about it. Now, there's some other guys. Here's my fifth guy.
Okay. Yeah, let me see who that fifth guy is. Because he got to be special if you're going to put him out there.
Well, coach, I like this guy. When I watch him on tape, I saw him do things in an exaggerated way.
Right.
Which tells me this guy's coached well and he plays great technique.
Right.
I've never seen a guy squeeze, playing zone coverage, right? Mm-hmm. Looking back at the quarterback and they throw a go route on him. I haven't seen a guy like this guy can turn that ball and squeeze that receiver behind on that sideline on a 9 route, giving him no space to catch the ball. And the ball's going to have to be perfect, and he knows how to high point the ball.
Wow.
And he's a kid from Gwinnett County, Andrew Booth Jr.
Yes.
Played at Archer High School, coach. 6'1", 200 pounds, Clemson University.
Wow.
And the only knock at him, he's only played 2 years in college. So he don't have a lot of experience, but he's a Sunday player, coach. He's a 4.3 40 guy, right? And so, he played well for Clemson. When he's in the lineup, it's something about Coach Venables at Clemson. Yes. Well, he's gone now. He's at Oklahoma now.
Right.
That guy coached. He coached players.
Right.
He wasn't playing around, and so all his DBs, everybody played well for him. He coached them up. This young man here is coached well. He's got athletic ability, and I love him, man. I love him in man. I love him in. I love the way he attacked the ball in the run game. How he comes up to support the run. They come to get busy. They come to get busy in the run game, and so I like that. Now, here's the thing about the NFL, coach.
Yeah, tell me about
this. Let me tell you about the NFL with corners.
Okay.
And this is what you have to watch yourself when you go to the NFL. Nobody's practicing tackling no more.
Yeah.
Coach, we don't practice tackling no more. All right. All right, so you lose, and then when you're playing corner, you're not getting those same opportunities you get in college to come up.
Right.
And so if you're not careful, you'll lose some things. You still got to work on tackling, coach. I don't care what level it's on. If you don't practice it, you're going to lose it. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Think about playing corner in the league. If a cornerback makes 4 tackles on a running back in a game, something wrong with the defense, coach.
Yes, it is. Something's wrong. Something happened. Defensive coordinator might be in trouble.
Coach, something wrong. Something wrong.
That's
Something wrong. Now, because he's on that track, he's running up and down the field with those receivers, he better be able to cover.
That's correct.
And so, and that's what happened to NFL corners, right? You know, everybody always asks about my boy Prime Time.
Right.
Prime Time didn't want to tackle. Well, when Prime Time came to Atlanta, came from Florida State. Prime was tackling.
Correct.
And then I had to put him aside and say, look, now, you can tackle, but you can't play like a safety because you're not going to last.
Gotcha.
I had to learn that for myself. My rookie year, I ended up playing, starting the first preseason game, which was a Hall of Fame game, coach, which gave us 5 preseason games.
That's right.
And they wanted to see me play the game. So I played 5 games.
Wow.
I didn't get no rest as a true rookie.
Wow.
And then with the 4th regular season game, coach, I was so tired. I was ready for the season to be over. That was 9 games, coach. you know, I only got 2 more.
But you're not used to playing those many games.
I'm not used to playing that many games.
Yeah, no playoff. No
playoffs.
Yeah.
And then here's what I really wasn't used to. My first training camp, 6 weeks of two-a-days. And we didn't know how to spell walkthrough, by the way, back in those days, ladies and gentlemen. Right. You listen to me. When I say two-a-days, we were hitting 2 practices for at least 2 hours.
Right.
Minimum 2 hours, sometimes 3. Right. And you know, and I was coached by Coach Jerry Glanville, so you know we got.
There you go.
That's
hitting every day.
That's it. Oh, every day.
That's hitting all the way to the cafeteria.
We either hitting or we running.
Right.
One of the two. Hitting or we running. So I like this guy, Andrew Booth, as my 5th guy coach. He's a special guy. But I'm just gonna say this. There are a lot of special guys in this draft. You know, I like your guy. You know, he's not gonna get drafted real high, but I like Josh Jobe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like him. And I like him because the fact that I think he's NFL ready. And you say, well, Bobby, how is he NFL ready? Well, think about who he practiced against.
Woo.
His whole career.
That's right.
Look who played alongside him in the secondary.
That's right.
And as a true freshman at Alabama, he started to play and start playing that position we talk about, star position.
That's right.
At Alabama. I mean, he's got that dog in him. But he you know, he's not gonna blaze you with his speed.
Correct.
You know, he's not gonna have the measurables of some of these other guys.
Right.
But he's gonna make somebody a value pick in the NFL.
Correct.
Right. And so we're gonna have over 30 DBs that get drafted this year, coach.
Wow.
So you think about that, right? And so it's an amazing time to be a defensive back. You know, the
game has changed, definitely.
The game has definitely changed. They're trying to score. And listen, let me even say this back for me in the old day. In my 12 years with the Falcons, you know, every year we'll go to training camp. And we'll start training camp with the new rules, right? The NFL will send the officials in to talk about the changes in the game and the rule changes, right?
Right.
Coach, I'm just telling you right now, you know, in my 12 years, every year there was a rule change.
Correct.
But in my 12 years, there was never a rule to change that enhanced defensive play.
Never. Well, they say half the problem. Mel Blount is the reason, and Bill Belichick is the reason. Those are 2 people that are the reasons why, you know, the greatest show on turf with the Rams, Bill Belichick touched them all over the side, took them into the Kool-Aid, the Gatorade, and all that stuff.
That's right. Well, let's say this. Mel Blount, being the guy that he was, and I'm thankful for Mel Blount. And this is Bobby Butler talking about, who got drafted in 1981, 5'11 and a half, 155 pounds. And so you go, well, why are you're praising Mel Blount that way? Because of him, they changed the bump and run rule.
Gotcha.
See, Mel was beating guys about 20 yards down the field, knocking them out. Right. Well, they changed the rule. You can touch a guy 1 time in the first 5 yards.
Correct.
And that's it. Right.
Right.
And so now we can't, guys 6'4", 220 can't cover no receivers like that down the field.
Right.
If you can't touch them at one time, right?
Right.
So now you got guys who can run, guys who got the ability to keep up with those little jitterbugs on the outside.
There you go.
Right. And see, and even during my time, a lot of people say, well, the receivers today bigger. I said, no, they ain't no different.
There you go.
You know, I played against Harold Carmichael. I got a picture.
I was going to say Harold Carmichael.
I keep it. Harold Carmichael, 6'8". I'm 5'11" and a half. Playing bump and run against Harold Carmichael. Right. Ooh. All right. And I'm so happy he finally got his due. They just inducted him to the Hall of Fame a year ago.
Yes.
Right. Great man. And so, you know, Jerry Rice, 6'2". You know, we had a lot of Michael Irvin, 6'2.5", 6'3". We had a lot of big receivers back in the day, right?
Right.
So they may not be as fast as some of the receivers today.
Gotcha.
But it don't matter how fast you are, because at the end of the day, they had Jerry Rice on the clock running like a 4.6 40. And coach, I'm telling you right now, he ever been a 4.3 on the field.
Wow. You know, because you had to play against him.
Oh, I played twice a year. We were in the same division.
Right.
So I see Jerry Rice often. All right. And so Jerry can run. And so you 4.6, thank you, 4.6. Don't read that press book, because he will come out there and put it on you, right?
Hey, B, look. He 4.6 without somebody, but when somebody chasing him, he turned into 4.3. Because you never saw him get caught from behind when he got behind you.
I never. I mean, he was like that. Michael Irvin a legit 4.6. Okay. But he's a physical receiver, know how to get open. Right. And so playing bump with him, you know, he'll grab you and try to sling you around, and he got away with that for years. And one Super Bowl, I forget who they played. They got him in the end zone. He threw a DB off of him, and Buffalo. They threw the flag for the Buffalo. Right. They threw the flag for the first time. And that was the end of it for him.
He's still thinking. He talks about that on the network, man. It wasn't him. It wasn't me.
It was him. They should have called it. He had been doing it for years and getting away with it. But anyway, it was a different day. But look, man, I'm elated for these guys. I mean, I get excited as if I'm still going to get drafted this year. I'm going to sit there and watch it, man, because I remember the anticipation. I remember all the mock drafts had me going in the first round. And so my experience with my other teammates the years before I got to my year was that every player that thought they was going to get drafted here, they didn't. And so I kept telling myself, when I said, look, I don't care what they say. I'm not going to believe it. I'm just hoping I can get drafted in the first 3 rounds.
Gotcha.
So every mock draft had me going in the first round, and I'm like shaking my head, you know, because I'm like, dude, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I don't want to get my feelings hurt. Right. And so, they used to do the draft in the mornings. Right. So I think the NFL draft started like 8:00 that morning. Right. So my goal was to sleep till about 10 or 11. So that was my goal, because I just want to sleep. I want to sleep to the first round. Really, that's what I wanted to do. And so my wife, who was my fiance at the time, she came and woke me up. And there was a reporter from Tallahassee who was there. Right. And I was hiding from everybody. Nobody knew I was over at her place. But anyway, I was hiding from everybody. And when I woke up, the first round basically had just started. Gotcha. And so right about 11:00 that morning, I got my first phone call from the Cowboys. All right. And they said, if you're there, we're going to take you. And I can't tell you how excited I was, Coach, because I grew up a Cowboy fan in South Florida. Gotcha. I didn't like the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, wow.
I like Bob Hayes and Roger Staubach. Roger Staubach played the game more like me than Bob Greasy. Right? So I was a Staubach fan, and Bob Hayes was the fastest man in the world, so I loved him. Right. And so I followed the Cowboys, right? And so I got that phone call from Gil Brandt, and he said, if you're there, we're going to take you. And I didn't tell nobody, you know, because everybody was calling the house. I didn't tell anybody. And then I got a phone call about 10 minutes later. It was the Falcons saying, we're going to take you. And they had to pick right before the Cowboys. Wow. All right. And so Eddie LeBaron called the house. And I talked with Eddie LeBaron. And so when they announced it, my wife And the reporter, they got all excited. They said, "Why you not excited?" I said, "Oh, I knew about 10 minutes ago."
Oh,
They told me about 10 minutes ago, and she was so mad with me, man. I'll never forget.
It's a show now. It's an event.
And listen, man, I'm glad it was like it was back in the old day.
Right.
I wouldn't have felt comfortable getting dressed up like that, going somewhere and hanging out. But it's what it is today. It's a money seller. You know, people tune in.
Right.
You know, companies can have their commercial on, and everybody making money. I get it, but I'm glad it wasn't like that for me. I'm glad it was low key.
And it's fitting that they, you know, for the kids now and the way the media and the socialite, everything that's going on now, it is an event, and it's those chances for those kids. We sing their praise and give them a pat on the back because they made it to this point. Not everybody makes it. Some do. They just take a different avenue to get there.
Right.
But I find it enjoying to watch, and I agree with you on these kids that with these players, these young men, that I definitely agree with you. Hit them all right on the head. The Elam kid, I think, is special, and I just think I still think Derek Stingley Jr., like you said, is the best, technically sound and covering and just watching what he did with Jamar Chase. Stingley had a foot injury that sidelined him a little bit, but it's going to heal. Oh, and his upside is tremendous. And that's why I brought you on, B, because I wanted you to be able to, from your experience. And just so you know, I wrote these guys down. I wrote every last one of them down.
Okay.
So sports fans, I think I know everything, but I brought on the guy that knew it because he did it. And I give me a little credit, sports fan. I might know a little something because I picked who he picked. And I tell you what, that's how God works.
Well, let me say this, Coach. You are one of the most knowledgeable men on this game of football that we play.
Thank you,
and I really appreciate you too. Getting to be with you for the last couple of years, man. Getting to hear your perspective from a coach perspective and what you're doing with young men. Hey, man, I tip my hat off to you. God bless you. Continue to fight the fight, man, because we need men like you in our society and our community, brother.
Hey, boy, you left me speechless on that one, B. I thank you so much. You still my big brother, and thank you so much for spending some time with me to talk some football on Coach One Sports. Sports fans, I just get all excited when I get a chance to talk to Bobby, and I thank you for him being with us to just talk about these great kids coming out in the draft. And who other to talk about it than somebody that did it for 12 years effectively, one of the top players his position in the first-round draft pick. So, B, I love you. Thank you for coming on the show. Sports fans, make sure you subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And thank you again, B, for coming on the show.
My pleasure,
we'll
Coach.
Again soon, because after the draft is over with, I want you to break down. Me and you, we're going to get together and break down.
Let's do it, man.
Who got the real dudes?
Who got the real dudes?
And who fell a little short a little bit?
Exactly. All right, Coach. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for coming on the show.